Good morning, children, and welcome back once again to the video tutorial classes for class 5 subject science. Now, children, you must be feeling relaxed now after the first semester examinations, and now we are into the second semester. Now, without wasting much of the time, let us get started. So now today we are going to start with chapter number 2, that is the skeletal system. As you all know that there are various systems that is operating within our human body. One of the systems we have already studied in chapter 1, that was circulatory system. Beside that, there are many other systems that work within our body. They are say the respiratory system, the digestive system, the excretory system, and there are many more. And out of this, the skeletal system is one of the important systems of the human body. Now, what is this skeletal system? This skeletal system consists of all the bones that is present within our body, and this framework of the bone is known as the skeleton. So now this skeleton gives a shape and size to our body. It protects the internal organs within our body. There are many internal organs that is present within our body. So I just listed here the skeletal system. This consists of all the bones that is present in the human body. Now, what is the skeleton? It is the framework of these bones, and these bones support the body and gives it a definite shape. Of course, this skeleton is covered by the muscles and the skin. Now, what about the bones? Now, there are many bones in our body. In the human body, there are 206 bones in the human adult body. Although in the babies there are many more, but as the baby grows, these bones fuse together to form lesser bones. So there are 206 bones in the human adult body, which are of different shapes and sizes. Now these bones are composed of minerals like calcium and phosphorus. This calcium and phosphorus give strength to the bones. Of these bones are connected to each other at the joints. Now we'll study about the joints in more details later in this chapter. Now these joints are the meeting place of two bones, and they allow the movement of the body. Now these bones are held together at the joints by strong tissues, which are known as the ligaments. Now there are different types of bones. There are bones, different types of bones that include the bones of the limbs, that is the hands and the legs, the fingers, the toes, the wrist, the skull, chest, spine, hips, and many more are there bones within our body. Now the bones also consist of the bone marrows. What is this bone marrow? This bone marrow is the soft spongy material that is present within our body, and it is the seed for the manufacture of the, or it manufactures the red blood cells. Okay, that is very important for our human body. Now let's talk in a little bit more details about the function of the bones. So now we are going to talk about the function of the bones. Now children, let us discuss the major functions of the bones. On the board I have listed a few functions of the bones that you need to understand. Number 1, the bones provide shape and support to the body. Now the human body has got a very nice, you can say that shape and the structure of the body. It is because of the bones. Second, the bones protect the internal organs. We know that there are many internal organs within our body, and it is the bones. The skull protects the brain, the rib cage protects the lungs and the heart. Of course, the other organs are also well protected inside our skeletal system. Now, they also help in the movement of the body. We have talked about little bit about the joints. At the joints, movement is possible because of the bones. Now, the bones, as you know, especially within the cavities of the long bones, there are bone marrow present. There is bone marrow present, and this helps in the production of the red blood cells. So this is some of the few functions that you all should know about the bones. Now we are going to discuss about some of the major bones that is present within our body. Now children, let us see the major bones of the human body. Now what are the major bones of the human body? Now the major bones are the skull, the rib cage, the limbs and the girdles. Now we are going to see about each one of them separately or one by one. Now first the skull. Now this skull is the round hollow, of course that is present, the round hollow structure that is present in our head. Now this skull gives a shape to the face and protects the brain. Now this skull consists of 22 bones, and of course it is divided into two parts, that is the cranium and the facial region. Now the cranium consists of 8 bones and the facial region has 14 bones. Now in addition to these bones, there are 6 more bones in the ears and 3 in each ear. The skull bones are fixed and they are immovable except the lower jaw. And within the lower jaw, you know that we have got the teeth. Now let us understand by the picture, or you can say the diagram of a skull. Now if you see the diagram or the structure of the skull, it is a round hollow bony structure present in the head. It gives shape to the face and covers and protects the brain. We have talked about just now that it consists of 22 bones. It has two parts, that is the cranium and the facial region. The cranium has 8 bones whereas the facial region has 14 bones. In addition, there are 6 small bones in the ears, 3 bones in each ear. The skull bones are fixed and are immovable except the lower jaw, which is movable. The lower jaw is joined to the upper jaw. Both jaws have teeth. So this is about the skull of the body. That means the skull, the major bone, one of the major bones of the skeletal system. Next, we are going to talk about the rib cage. Now what is this rib cage? These are thin curved bones in the chest region. If you feel, you can feel it within your chest also. These are thin bones in the chest region called the ribs. Now which make a cage like structure called the rib cage. Of course the rib cage protects the lungs and the heart. It contains 12 pairs of ribs. These bones are attached to the sternum. Now what is the sternum? The sternum is a long flat bone at the center of the chest which supports the ribs in the front. So these bones of the ribs are attached to the sternum in the front and to the backbone at the back. Now the 10 pairs are attached to the backbone as well as to the sternum. But the last 2 pairs are attached only to the backbone. It is free in the front. That is why it is also known as the floating ribs. Now let us see a diagram of a rib. Now I hope you can understand or you can see that these are the rib cage. Just it is a curved structure. In the front, this is the sternum. Okay, in the chest region, the bones of the rib are attached to the backbone at the back and to the sternum in the front. You see that the last 2 pairs, these last two pairs are called the floating ribs. This is the floating ribs. Now this is about the rib. Now next children, we are going to talk about the backbone. If you see in the figure, this is the backbone. It just does not consist of a one single bone, but it consists of small bones, and each bone is called a vertebra and the plural is vertebrae. So the backbone is also known as the spine, is a long bony structure which connects the skull to the other parts of the skeletal system. Just now I said that does not consist of one single bone. Now it consists of 33 small bones called the vertebrae. Now these vertebrae are joined to form a strong column called the vertebral column. The vertebrae move due to these joints. As a result, we can bend or twist our backs. Just imagine if the backbone was made up of just one bone. So we would not be able to bend. So in the diagram you can see that the children can bend because of these small bones of the vertebral column. That is the backbone. The backbone, that is the vertebral column, protects the delicate spinal cord. Now these spinal cords are very sensory, or they are very sensitive. They are nerve fibers. The upper part of the backbone is attached to the base of the skull and the lower end to the hip region. Now cartilage, a cartilage, that is a tissue present between most of the vertebrae, cushions or acts as a shock absorber. Now out of these 33 small bones, 7 are present in the neck region. So the main function of this backbone is they protect the spinal cord. So this is about the back. Let us understand about an important bone, that is the limbs. Now the human beings have got two limbs, that is the upper limb and the lower limb. Now the upper limb are in the form of our hands, and the lower limbs are in the form of our legs. Now the upper limb, now there are two upper limbs. We have got two hands, so there are two upper limbs, and each upper limb has got two parts, the upper arm and the lower arm. Now let us understand through a diagram. This is the diagram of a upper limb, the bones of the upper limb. The upper arm has got one bone called the humerus. So from here to here, that means from the shoulder you can say that to the elbow region, that bone is known as the humerus. The lower bone, the lower arm has two bones called the radius and the ulna. So here are the radius and the ulna. These two bones are the radius and the ulna. The bones of the lower arms and the upper arm are joined at the elbow. We are going to talk about the joints little later on. So here is the elbow, where the lower arm and the upper arm meets. Now the wrist and the hands contain small bones. Now each hand has 27 bones. Now how is it distributed? There are 8 bones in our wrist. Here is the wrist. There are 8 bones. 5 bones in the palm and 14 bones in the fingers. So you can see that these are small bones, and each finger there are 3, whereas in the thumb you will find 2 bones. Of course the names are also given there, the carpal, the metacarpals and the phalanges. So this is about the upper limb. Now let's see about the lower limb, that is our legs. Now there are 2 lower limbs. Each lower limb has 2 parts, the upper leg and the lower leg. The upper arm has only one bone called the femur. Now this femur is also known as the thigh bone, or you can say that the thigh bone is also known as the femur. It is the longest bone in the body. The lower leg has again 2 bones called the tibia and the fibula. Here is the tibia and the fibula. The femur is joined to the tibia and fibula at the knee. The ankle and the toes have many small bones. Each bones have 26 bones. Each foot has 26 bones. Now how are these 26 bones distributed? 7 bones in the ankle region, 5 bones in the insteps, and 14 bones in the toes. So we have just now seen about the lower limb and the upper limb. Now the girdle. Now a girdle is a ring-like structure. Okay, ring-like bony structure. Now we have got 2 girdles. That is the pectoral girdle. We say that it is a shoulder girdle and the pelvic girdle. The pectoral girdle or the shoulder girdle has 4 limbs or the arms attached to it. Our arms are attached to the pectoral girdle. It is composed of the shoulder blade. So what is composed of? It is composed of the shoulder blade and a collar bone. Next we have the pelvic girdle, that is also known as the hip girdle, has the lower limbs or the legs attached to it, and it is composed of 3 bones fused to form the single bone. So this is about some of the major bones of our body. So children, today we have discussed about the different major bones of the human body. To sum up, we had seen about the skull, the rib cage, the backbone, limbs and the girdles. We'll start with a new topic in the next class. Now along with this video class, I am going to send you a small assignment which you have to do in your exercise copy. Kindly leave one page and write their second semester and proceed with the assignments. Till then, take care and thank you.